Right now, it's time to round up another big topic from the week. Protests happening across the U.S. and the world after President Donald Trump signs an executive order temporarily banning refugees from Muslim-majority countries from entering the U.S. Besides the ban, the order also puts in place what the president calls extreme vetting for citizens of 7 predominantly Muslim countries. There are exceptions to the president's temporary ban on refugees, though notably for Christians. The order was immediately met with backlash, with protests after dozens of travelers were detained at several airports across the U.S., including an Iraqi man who was traveling to Houston to meet with his family. Then a federal judge late yesterday granted a nationwide stay to temporarily allow those detained with valid visas to remain in the U.S., and he was released. But early this morning, Homeland Security said the court order will not affect the overall implementation of the White House executive action. Now, several groups plan to file federal lawsuits this week challenging President Trump's executive order. Iran has responded to the president's action on immigration by enacting their own ban, barring U.S. citizens from entering in retaliation. Several protesters say the move could strengthen terrorist groups by convincing them that America is working against them. This is our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you, as always, on our Fox 26 Facebook page. Joining us out here live at Discovery Green is our panel, led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, former Harris County Democratic Party Chair Jerry Bernberg, and conservative attorney Michelle Byington. Good morning, guys. We'll let you take it away.
Good morning, and thank you. And the executive order is following through on his promise during the campaign to do this. Caught a whole lot of people right in the middle of the air flying back into the United States. Many of these people already had the permission to be in the United States, which is why a federal judge last night granted them relief from the executive order and allowed them to continue on into the country, saying that you have the right to be here, and they're here, Jerry Bernberg, and they were in. Lawsuits have been filed to challenge the president's executive order. Interestingly, and this is where I want to start with this, he banned travel from, I think, 6, maybe 7 countries, none of which attacked us in 9/11, which is what he used as the basis by which he signed the executive order.
Yeah, and by the way, none of which have a Trump property either, unlike the other areas such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Egypt, and Turkey that do, and that are not on the travel ban list. But, you know, I guess that's not really the point. When you're talking about refugees, you're talking overwhelmingly about kids and their mothers. The number of refugees who are admitted to the United States is infinitesimally small. They only get here after they are vetted for 1.5 or 2 years. They are folks who, by definition, by everybody's agreement, have been victims, and we victimize them more.
The president said in the campaign and started that he wanted extreme vetting, and he said when he signed the executive order he wants extreme vetting. What is it?
Well, I think it's asking all of the right questions to these individuals. When you come to our country, there needs to be a policy and a procedure of specific questions that are asked of these individuals who want to come and make a home out of our country. My question number 1, do you respect the constitutional republic? If the answer is no, I don't care to have you here. Number 2, do you support Sharia law? If the answer is yes, we don't need you here either.
But isn't it as simple to lie on those questions? That's not extreme vetting to me. And if it is, that's not a test. I mean,
wait a minute. 6-year-olds don't know the answer to those questions.
We're not looking to
yes, we are. That's the whole point. That's the entirety of the universe that you're talking about here. You're talking about children and their mothers. There are a very small number of folks who have cooperated with us, who are males and adults, who have been people who put their lives at risk for the United States.
That's absolutely true.
All right,
yes.
That's the rest of them. Now, what do we need to vet them for any more than they're already being vetted? The CIA, the FBI, every other folks have cleared them after asking all those questions. It's not like people say, you know, I want a bus pass to enter the U.S.
Let Michelle weigh in.
It's important that we don't paint these people with a broad brush of, hey, they're all good apples. It's just as important not to paint with a broad brush that they're all bad apples. office. This is one more procedure that needs to be put in place to ensure the safety of Americans.
Is this the broad brush or the short brush when you say nobody can come in? It sounds pretty broad to me.
All right, let me ask you this. President Trump has signed, I think, 16 executive orders his first week in office, more than any president I can think of in my lifetime. During President Obama's presidency, the Republicans, Ted Cruz included, called him lawless for signing executive orders, and they were outraged by his signing of executive orders. The Republicans throughout his entire presidency. Where's the outrage by the Republicans for Donald Trump's executive orders that he signed this first week in his presidency?
I mean, this is what Donald Trump ran on. He ran on going against the Washington establishment, both Republicans, both Democrats, and he is putting into action his words. So where's the outrage is a great question. However, this is a man of action, and this is what got him voted into office.
Where's the outrage?
I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea where the outrage is, but I will tell you this, that Donald Trump has signed more executive actions in the first 10 days of his presidency than any other president in history, at least since in the last 70 years. And Obama at this point in his presidency had signed 4.
I said my lifetime. I'm not 70, but thank you very much. In the order that he signed with respect to the Syrians, tucked in there was a loss of the privacy protections that George W. Bush put in place and President Obama put in place when he signed DACA for immigrants who signed up for DACA. What do you make of that?
Well,
we got less than 30 seconds.
Same thing as what he did with regard to so-called sanctuary cities. If you want to take our money, then you have to do what we said. Well, that was what the NRA folks got so mad about when the government said, if you want our money, you got to enforce
our less than 15 seconds. What do you make of him taking away those privacy protections for hundreds of thousands of people that signed up for DACA?
I think he is looking at France, and I think he's looking at Germany, who have seen a skyrocket in crime, and he's thinking, how do I fix this?
All right, we're going to leave it right there. That's all the time we have this week. We'll be back next week, wrapping up the hottest stories of the week.
This story definitely going to continue to develop today. We will follow it all for you. Thanks so much, guys, for coming out here and joining us live on our set here at Discovery Green. We'll see you again soon.